It's Dan from the Mike James Rock Show, and I've got Martijn.
Martijn. That's
Martijn.
the right pronunciation, yes.
From Delain with me to say hello to us, basically. How you doing, chap?
Good. Couldn't complain.
So it's been a moment since you guys have last been in the UK.
Yes.
And a moment since your last release as well, because this is the album tour of Apocalypse and Chill.
Yes.
Which terrifies me slightly, the idea of what Apocalypse and Chill is. I mean, do we destroy the world and then chill afterwards?
That's basically one of the scenarios. What could be possible? Absolutely.
Well, a date with you sounds like quite a terrifying thing. It's normally just Netflix and chill.
Yes,
so,
true. True. I have to be honest. I didn't hear of that phrase actually. I only heard of it because of Charlotte. So
really,
I'm learning things too.
Okay.
And I do have Netflix.
Well. Play your cards right after the interview, you never know. So it was a little bit of time in between albums. I imagine that being on the album cycle after so long, you're super excited to play new stuff.
Yes, because when you're writing new stuff, it's always a completely different animal than when you play on stage.
Yes.
And see it coming to life, and sometimes it works better than you hope for, and sometimes you think, this needs some work live. So it's exciting always.
Because you got to convert what you've done in a studio and a practice room to a performance, which a lot of people don't realise how much muscle memory has to be learned.
No, true.
You want to not stand there. So, like I see it from time to time, even in the most professional of bands, is they're kind of stood there remembering the new song.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that, because that to me is very human. But I know there's a lot of pressure on you as an artist or as a band to, as soon as you have new stuff, do it as well as your old stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, even when you write, I write music, and then I have to play it like a year later, and I have no clue what I played.
Yeah.
I have to figure it out again.
How long was there since you guys sort of got to the end of the writing part of the album to actually getting the final mastered copy out? Was it like a few months, or was it maybe a year or so? Because we know that this is a sliding scale.
It was all mixed. It was. I think we played the US while we got the master in.
Okay.
So
bit distracted.
And not only that, also we didn't record everything in one go. So we kind of mixed the whole process. Normally you first record and then first you write, then you record, and then you master. But we did it kind of almost song by song.
Okay.
Because it makes you more flexible to change things, and it's kind of more the modern way of doing it.
Yeah.
So, but. Yeah, the result is too that sometimes you're on tour, you're playing, while in the meantime people work on new material.
Yes,
so, yeah, that's how it goes.
I imagine it was quite exciting breaking up some of the rigours of tour, because whilst touring is great, there is a lot that comes with it, that you've got to sit through long days of being in a van or a bus.
Yeah.
Imagine it was lovely actually getting the mixes back of the new album going, this is actually happening, while and cheering up those.
Well, it was really weird. I remember a day that I went to this big American store, Walmart, in the morning to get breakfast, and at the same time I took my laptop to be on Wi-Fi there to download the next song, which was mixed, so I could make tweaks and send it back to Denmark where it was mixed. And it was really, really weird. Really weird. So I was like in the grocery store, in the supermarket, checking out new stuff and then giving my feedback.
That's awesome. Like I say, it's the modern way of doing it, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So because there was like a moment or two in between, was that due to you guys wanting to write a different album this time, or was it just because as you can imagine, interview quite a few bands, and you guys were around the point where a lot of bands do take an extra year or so to launch an album. We think that the more we talk about it, the more makes things easier for a band in your position, because up until that point you've been quite regular every 2 years or so, and then there was a bit more of a gap. Was that to make sure that you delivered the album that you were looking to deliver?
No. Actually, Charlotte mentioned it a couple weeks ago that we realized we released something every single year since 2012. We released a Blu-ray, or we released an EP, or something like that. So every year there was a release, and every release brings a lot of work, even if it's not an album. And we also decided that we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to focus more on just writing for an album, and not doing all these other separate releases, because they are highly distracting.
Yes.
And that was actually more more one of the reasons why it took longer. And no, we just take the time we need to write, and it all goes automatically. There's not really a plan. Of course, there's always like that you estimate like how long will it take to write this album, but in the end it just takes as long as it takes.
Yeah, and I think you guys are quite fortunate because it seems like the Delain fan base were happier waiting for an album that you guys wanted to do properly than necessarily you churning out another album, like you say, like a release every time. And especially because we've been sat downstairs watching people come in, and I'm not seeing any t-shirts apart from Delain t-shirts, which is always a lovely sign at a gig because it means that you're getting out your true fan base.
Yes, no, we are very spoiled with our fan base. They're very loyal.
Very.
Yeah.
And are you getting the response live? Because I mean, a little bit awkward asking this question when the album's been out such a short amount of time, but are you getting the response from people that you were hoping for on the new album?
Yeah, actually yesterday we for the first time I noticed that when we said like we're gonna play this song now, and then people really reacted to that.
Okay.
And of course a couple songs are already released on a video, and they know that song then. So it's always that's always a magical moment. Yeah.
I imagine it makes, because there's so much stress is involved in getting an album to launch. I mean, one of the things that I normally giggle at with bands is the fact that by the time you've actually launched an album, you're a little bit tired of listening to it because you've had to go over it, as you say, mix, master, tweak it. And I love doing these album launch tours because it's where you guys get almost reinvested in the album because you're seeing it go to new ears and everything like that. Is there any song that you particularly wanted to get out to the crowd that's on the album, even if it's not on the tour right now? Is there something that you can't wait to see what people respond to?
Actually, to every song, I'm just curious what people think. And with every song I write, I envision like being on stage playing that song and placing myself into people's minds to say, okay, would they like it? And still be true to yourself, what you want to write.
Yep.
But it's kind of a way of trying to get out of that bubble and see what you're doing, to judge what you're doing, and go back into it. So it's kind of a trick I do a lot, actually.
Well, I'm a big fan of people that write music with the live presence in mind, because you can always tell when it's like it happened in the Queen movie where they sort of write a track so that the rest of the crowd can get involved. I've always been one of those people singing along in the crowd, so I love it when
We Will Rock You, for example.
Exactly, when you've got that ability. So it's nice to hear that you, as one of the main writers of Delain, is also thinking like that for people.
But the thing is, at the same time, you should not limit yourself because of it. Because sometimes somebody says, yeah, but you can't do it like that because how are you going to do that live? And then I always think, okay, but we're not going to think about that right now. We're going to think about how can we write the most kick-ass song we can think of.
That is Delain.
And that is Delain, and have in mind how people would experience that. And later on we worry about how we're going to execute it live.
Yeah.
So those are two separate things.
That makes a good balance for writing, though, doesn't it? Yeah, fair enough. As you might be able to pick up on the microphones, the gig is getting ready to head off, and I can see your PR also lurking from time to time in the window out there, but that's mostly so that you can get in the right headspace for the gig. So I'm actually going to wrap up and say thank you for taking a couple of minutes to chat to us about the new album.
My pleasure.
And good luck tonight, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Welcome to the My James Rock Show.